Whoopi Goldberg just admitted that Disney and ABC uses The View only to spew Democrat talking points. But don't take my word for it. Listen to it yourself.
It's not about him winning. It was an indictment against the Democratic Party and what the Democratic Party was offering to American citizens. We might sit up there and talk about, hey, you should be a party for the working class, which the Democratic Party was once known for. They're not known for that right now. Why? Because their message was catering towards others and towards other issues, and they forgot about the people that brought them there, that elevated the Democratic Party to what it was over these last few decades. That's why they lost. He didn't win.
Well,
the Democrats
remind
lost.
people what those issues were.
Sure.
Let's remind people what those issues were.
We can do that.
Making sure that families had what they need, SNAP, making sure stuff is there, making sure that the America that we all grew up in, where you could come and be whoever you were supposed to be or want to be, you still have that right. All these things are the things that the Democrats have always said. But now we have a guy who says, yeah, you know, I'm going to bring down the price of eggs. But first, I'm going to cut all these jobs, and I'm not going to see why they need to be cut. I'm just going to cut them. Because I'm going to put people in. Well, that's what he's doing. He's doing all
and alienate all our friends around the world.
But you're talking about what he's doing. But before you brought that up, you brought up the message that the Democratic Party was disseminating. I'm challenging you on that. That is not what they were doing.
I'm not talking about the intent. We did it.
I was here too. I was alive and breathing right here on the air talking to everybody else.
Saying as if you were there watching the same thing would somehow make your word that much more superior. Whoopi Goldberg, that is. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith went to The View and actually unleashed some truths and obviously some things that he's wrestling with himself. We know that Stephen A. Smith is a closeted Trump supporter. I don't care what nobody says. That man is too smart for his own good. But, you know, he's playing a game. In my opinion, I feel like he's playing a game and he's transitioning his audience pretty smoothly. Hey, I'm just saying, if I'm looking, I'm not saying that he's trying to market what he's feeling, so to speak. However, I think he's marketing his transition in the perfect way. This is all a conspiracy right now. This isn't anything I can prove. I'm just saying. Because he got a lot of common sense, but knowing that he voted, I'll leave it at that. Now, before we continue more with suffering from The View, Stephen A. Smith pointed out something very, very important. He unleashes on Democrats for posting identical anti-Trump videos. Yo. I'm glad I waited until I got to this segment because I did have another segment where I was going to independently post that video, but let's just enjoy it with Stephen A. Smith.
Now you see why Stephen A. Smith was in the polls as a presidential candidate? See what I'm talking about?
Really?
You see that idiocy right there? You talk about something, people being tone deaf. Why the hell would 22 Democratic senators be literally echoing the same thing and think that would resonate with the American people? All it shows is that the same fabric of our democracy is unchanging in the eyes of some of these officials, and as a result, the constituency they represent, which is why Donald Trump is in office. What, do I have to come up to Capitol Hill and give you lessons? Seriously, you don't get it? All you did, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Chuck Schumer. Let's all get together. Let's put this in a prompter, and all together, albeit in separate rooms, we'll grab a microphone and say the same damn thing. And that's what's going to resonate with the American people. And then you wonder why you're no longer in power. You wonder why Trump is in the White House.
It ain't hard to see why. It's really not hard to see why. Why would these Democrat senators or Democrats in general sit there and, I mean, multiple, countless, dozens, sit there, read the same exact script and think that in 2025 is going to resonate with people? I'm sorry to say, if it did resonate with you with some low vibrational vibes you got going on, and you might have to talk to God, talk with him. I don't think a therapist will work. Nah, man, these Democrats haven't learned nothing. Now we got to go back to suffering with The View. Joy Behar. Do you say Behar? Bar? Anywho, scopes at the fact, caught myself. Scopes at the fact that Trump won the popular vote and has a mandate. Stephen A. Smith sets her straight. Oh, wow. Stephen A. Smith, look, come on now. He talking them facts now. Let's see.
And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly.
I'm saying he did. I'm saying that like it was this time around. My fault. I got to listen a little more carefully. My bad, y'all.
Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. Yep. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won a popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we should continue to do that. Don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
Yes, but of course, like Stephen A. Smith just proved in a previous clip, they haven't found a new strategy. In fact, they're going to continue to stick to that same script. Now, we're going to be bothered by some KJP. I thought we was done with it, but we're not, unfortunately. She whines about Smith acknowledging Trump's mandate.
When Stephen was leaving, she said, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. I disagree with you.
Yes, I do.
And I was curious, and so that's why I was curious.
I do, on the mandate, on Donald Trump and his administration having a mandate, and we have to be super mindful and careful of this because he does not have a mandate. And what I mean by that is if you look at the numbers, just look at the facts. He won with the smallest margin of the popular vote since the 19th century. Yeah. There was no coattail, meaning that it is the House is at a razor thin, yeah. And he's on his way in the first 100 days to be the most unpopular president in their first 100 days.
Yeah.
That is not a mandate.
In 70 years.
In 70 years.
The word man is in there.
Well, but that's questionable.
Oh my gosh. They keep trying to question the legitimacy of Donald Trump. It is just, Oh my. I'm over here. I was sitting back really debating whether or not I wanted to continue suffering. I really am. I'm also doing a little research in between to educate myself on a few things, but this is KJB, and she tries to walk back about the Democratic Party firing squad that came for President Biden after his disastrous debate. Okay, well, this ain't what we wanted to pivot to, but let's check it out real quick.
I do want to ask about your boss, President Biden. You were asked recently at Harvard about the onslaught that you guys faced after he had a very bad debate performance. You described it as a firing squad. Another Biden aide said the party lost its mind. Do you believe that Joe Biden would have won if he had stayed in? And a follow-up to that, do you think Kamala Harris would have had a better shot had she had more time?
Did she say no?
So look, I was asked a question. I answered it honestly and how I felt at the moment. I was the one that was going to the podium.
Oh my gosh. No, she not acting like she over here still giving out press conferences. Just answer the question.
I answered it honestly and how I felt at the moment. I was the one that was going to the podium almost every day after that happened. And it was shocking what I saw. But I also, I can't speculate, right? I don't know what would have happened. And anybody who says they do, they don't really know. And so I don't want to go to rehatch the past. I don't think that's a good idea. Right now, again, 5-alarm fire, we need to move with strategy, with focus, and the Democratic Party needs to actually answer those questions that I put forth. Who are we and what are we fighting
And how do
for?
we meet the moment?
And how do we meet the moment?
Okay. I agree with that. You definitely got to, Democrats, y'all got to sit back and strategize, honestly. And I think the only strategy right now for y'all should just be honesty. I think that you got, Alexa, stop. Okay, it just decided to keep going. Alexa, stop. Yeah, but I do 100% agree with that they just need to lead with the truth. They need to stop being intellectually dishonest and trying to twist every little, oh, he won by this little margin, so, he does not have a mandate. Y'all just some sore losers, man. These are the only people who host The View with Merit Political Discourse. Sarah Haynes, Sarah, who has been on and off the show since 2016. Okay, well, yeah, I don't care about that right now. What we got, I really don't understand why some Republicans insist on telling them where they went wrong. Let the Democratic Party stay as it is. It's a surefire way to ensure a Republican clean sweep in 4 years. I'm not about division and maintaining division. I would much rather us not necessarily have a collective mind when it comes to everything, but a collective mind when it comes towards morals and just human decency, just the basics, and having empathy and compassion for our neighbors, at the very least. Let me see. Posts and videos like this are annoying. They just jerk. Oh, no, I can't say that. If Dems lost and Trump didn't win, then what happened? Smith can be very dumb. Yeah, Trump swept. I don't think that the Dems losing is the reason why. Nah, well, obviously it is the reason why, but the way he was implying, no, Donald Trump won. It wasn't that the Democrats lost, and because they lost, Donald Trump. No. Well, yes, that is. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's kind of hard to make sense of this because what he was implying was different than the actual literal context of the sentence. It's different. What we just said, let's remind people remind people on what those issues were. How effed up is this clown? Cry more, I think they were trying to say. Disney is a terrible company. They allow this bad behavior to continue. And also, I can no longer upload any videos about, I don't even know if I want to say his name, but I'll just say the list that we are waiting from Pam Bondi. I don't know if I can post any more videos. Every time I post that, the time before last I posted them, I ended up getting strike, and then I posted the one yesterday and it ended up becoming limited. So I think in a few hours or so, I'm definitely gonna end up deleting that off the channel. Most likely just uploading it to the Patreon. I have locals now and all these other platforms for y'all to go check it out. A few more before we get up out of here. We will soon see Stephen A. Smith move on as a sports broadcaster doing this next Disney deal. A slow transition towards politics started with that one report of an interest to run for office. Now he seems more informed and interested here than on ESPN. If I'm being completely honest with you, whether I disagree or whether he was a Democrat or Republican, I do feel like he has genuine interest in what he's researching. And although I may feel like he still voted for Trump, whatever, I do feel like he's, for the most part, coming from a genuine place for the most part. And even if he's not, he's still giving out them facts. See you in the next video.